This is not a test.
Dick is in the interrogation room with Daniel, and Daniel is foaming from the mouth because he just got his brain entered. The mind of Daniel was just raided by Dick, and he found out exactly where these 13 pillars are that are keeping and containing it, aka Pennywise. Now, when everyone comes in, they take Daniel up out of here, and Dick looks over and says, "We got it. We know exactly where these 13 pillars are." Marge is in the hospital recovering from getting her whole eyeball cut out. Now, people think that Lilly was the one that did it, but we know it was actually her biggest fear, that snail from the classroom. And well, she told everybody Lilly didn't have anything to do with it. But remember, she was a part of the patty cakes, and the patty cakes were trying to set up Lilly. But she told Lilly, "Look, I'm sorry, I missed you a lot, and I believe you. I believe everything you said you saw. I know they might send me off to the loony bin, but I want to help you guys find where Maddie and the other kids went." The kids, they're going through it because they just seen what happened to Marge. They all know that whatever it is attacking them. And well, Ronnie wants to get her dad out of jail, so she's saying, "Let's get Marge and take Marge to the police." Marge isn't going to say anything because no one's going to believe it. Now, they're just letting Lilly know that everyone believes that she is crazy. But out of nowhere, they start hearing a weird noise. That weird noise turns out to be Maddie, and he's sitting in the tent, and he's talking about, "Help me, help me." Now, we all thought that Maddie was DOA, dead on arrival, but no, he's alive. With everything going on in Derry and Leroy not knowing exactly what he's here for, he goes to talk to the general because he just seen his son get pulled up under the water. He just seen his son with scratched up wrists. Now, the general is saying, "We brought you here for something very, very serious." Leroy saying, "Well, whatever it is, you brought me out here and put my family in danger?" The general said, "No, we told you to move on base. It was your decision to move off of base." So now Leroy, he wants to get to the bottom of what exactly are we looking for, because he also seen Dick tripping out on the helicopter. So right now, he's just in limbo. The general shows them exactly where they need to go. War Memorial Street Park. Once they go over here, there's an old house. The Native Americans know about it, but you got to go in the tunnels, and that's where we'll find whatever it is down there. So Leroy's looking at this like, well, let me get my family on base before we go on any expedition where I could potentially never come back. The crew is talking to Maddie. Now, Maddie's been gone for a while. He's very, very pale. You can tell he smells very bad. Clothes are dingy. And he's been in the sewer system for a while. He's saying that there's a clown down there. And everyone else, RIP. They didn't make it. He even seen it eat the kid's brains right in front of him. Now, he doesn't want to go back to the police because he ran away from his home before, and his fear is his father. It seems like his father was abusing him, so he doesn't want to go to the police. So the kids are saying, we could go down into the sewer system and try to find the other kids. Now, you know, Rich isn't really with that. He doesn't want to get eaten, but the kids got to do what they got to do. It's redemption day for Hank. He better figure it out because they're taking him from the jail straight to the prison, Shawshank, and this ain't Shawshank Redemption. But as he's leaving, we see Charlotte over there watching. Now remember, she had a letter to go and talk to Hank, and we found out that Hank had that jungle fever and was messing with that white woman, and he shouldn't have been. Now, when they getting ready to escort him onto the prison bus, someone runs out and gets ready to try to shoot Hank, but the cops stop him. Now, while all this commotion is going on, Charlotte looks over at the door, and she sees a random police officer just smiling and laughing at the whole situation. But when she looks again, he disappears. Rose, now she goes and meets up with the general, and she's like, "Where's my family member? Where's Daniel at?" He's like, "We got him, but we're gonna need him." And remember, Derry has a weird way of people forgetting what happens there. He didn't remember anything that happened in Derry when him and Rose were little until he came back and took some meds. Now, Rose is saying, if you guys are going to go do this and go look for it, I need to go with you. I need to be able to help you. Let me talk to Daniel first. The general is saying, all right, you could talk to him for a short second, but he needs to come with us. They show Rose going back to her house, And inside of a wall, she ends up opening up this box, and there's actually one of the pillars in there that was supposed to be buried. Now she goes and she gives it to Daniel. Now they're speaking in their native language, but the colonel at the door says speak English. But she's basically saying, look, hold on to this. This pillar will protect you. Keep it close, because she knows what's capable of happening down in those tunnels. Now the colonel does take the pillar away from him, and they hug, and she has to go and wait to figure out what they're going to actually do with Daniel. Leroy knows exactly what's going on in the city now, so what does he do? Go home and packs his family up. We gotta go, and we gotta go right now. He takes them, and they're moving back to base. Now we know that Maddie is alive, and in the back seat, Will is saying, what about my friends? Can I see my friends? Basically, Leroy is saying, we don't have any friends. It's really us versus whatever the hell is going on in Derry. Remember, no one believes anything that Lilly is saying. They already sent her to Jupiter Hill. So the only person she has in her corner that's an adult is the nurse that used to work there, the one that told her to pursue trying to find out whatever it is. So she goes over to her house and she's like, Maddie is alive, but we can't go to the police. This lady believes her. That leads us to believe that she may have had one of these encounters when she was a youngster, because it's every 27 years that this happens. Now, while they're sitting there, her old man comes in there and he looks a little weird. Lily's like, hey, how's it going? He's talking about make sure you have my meal put together. And then he walks off. But now an adult actually knows that Maddie is still alive. Charlotte and Will are at the house. Will, he isn't thinking about anything that's going on. He wants to get with his friends, get down in this tunnel and trying to find out what exactly is going on. Now, he really doesn't have anything to do with this, but he does like Ronnie. So he asks, can he go and hang out and walk around the base? Charlotte's like, yeah, you can. But on the news, what does she hear? That bus that was going to Shawshank, well, it looked like it got flipped over. And the notorious Hank, the kid slasher, he got away. The kids are back up at the hangout spot. Lilly ends up bringing Marge over. Now, Marge has only got one eye, so I don't know if we're going to be able to see our way through this, all pun intended. But Ronnie doesn't like the patty cakes. Marge is saying, I'm an ex-patty cake, because she realized being in the in crowd isn't actually being cool. Everyone wants to help out, and plus, Maddie knows the direction to get to Phil and to Susie and everyone else that may potentially be in the tunnels. Now, remember, in order to bat their fears, they're going to take some of Mama's little help, which is some Xanax or something like that to calm their nerves. Now, Lily's talking about let's take as many as possible, which isn't a good thing, but these are kids and this is all they know. The military is getting together. We got our briefings. It's time to get on that move. Now, there's 13 artifacts. We need to go down there and find them. This right here will contain it. We'll be able to put that pressure onto whatever it is. We just got to go through this abandoned house, go down through the well, and get into the underground system. Now, disclaimer, anything you see or hear down there that isn't one of us military members, delete it. Bow, 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 shoot it. Don't fall for whatever you may hear. As they go through the underground tunnels, Daniel is taking the lead. Now remember, Daniel does have one of the pillars on him. This is for his protection. Rose told him to keep it close. Now remember, anything you hear or see that seems out of the ordinary, you're supposed to delete it. But also, we know in these type of movies, you're always supposed to stay as close as you can to the next person, close enough that you can touch them, because when you turn around and turn back the way you were going, you may not see that person in front of you anymore, or the person behind you. As they're walking, we see Dick. Now, Dick is in the middle of the pack. He doesn't step down, and he falls down into this water, and everyone else is standing up in it. He's drowning. He's starting to swim, and he's coming up out the water. It turns out he's in a bathtub, and his grandmother is there talking to him. And he's looking around confused as hell, like, whoa, wait a minute. I'm supposed to be in the tunnels. What is going on here? Dick is sitting on the floor outside of the bathtub. His grandma was there, and you see the door slowly start to open up. And it's his grandfather, and he has a revolver on his hip, and he has a box with a chain on it. Now, the 2 military members that were behind Dick, they're looking around trying to find out where he is because Dick fell through the water. Everyone else is just standing up in it. So they are very, very confused about what's happening. So is Dick while he's on this bathroom floor.
I want.
You seen Uncle Sam come up out of that tunnel, scared the hell out of him. Now, Major and his boy, they turned around like, whoa, 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 what is that noise? Because at this point, everyone is separated. You got Daniel up front with the colonel. Then in the middle, you had Dick and these two. And now you got the major and the captain. So everyone is split up at this point. But again, if you hear or see anything that's out of the ordinary, be prepared to lay it down. While all of this is going on in the tunnels, the kids, they finally arrive. Now they're looking at this underground sewage like, I'm not sure if I really want to go in there. But they do have Mama's Little Helpers, the Xanax pills, and they all take 3 apiece. And before they go in there, they all pop those 3 pills. I'm talking about taking these straight to the head. And this is not anything you want to do, especially for a kid. An adult should only be taking 1, maybe 2, but 3? Uh-oh. Let's see how these kids act. With all of the yelling and everything going on, the colonel was talking to Daniel. Are you all right? What do you got? Daniel hearing some stuff. Everyone is starting to trip out and hear things. Well, Daniel, once he hears all that screaming, he takes off. He's running. The colonel starts shooting at him. I don't know why he's trying to shoot at him, but he starts pop, pop, pop. He's shooting. Daniel's running. But that pillar that he has, he ends up dropping it. He can't find it. But if you know that they're shooting at you, to hell with that pillar. Daniel just kept running. He left that thing in the water. We aren't sure what Dick's fear is, but his grandfather has that box, and he's telling him and his grandmother to stop communicating with each other and speak out loud. But you're going to help your grandfather open this box. Now, Dick is saying he ain't going to do it. So it looks like his biggest fears are inside of this box with the chain on it. The grandfather shoots his grandmother in the leg. Bow! I'm looking around like, what is going on? Dick is on the ground. The grandfather snatches the lock off. The box opens up and Dick starts to lose it. He's screaming. He's on the ground and there's a bright yellow light coming out of this box, but we don't even know what's in the box. The kids are walking and all of them are tripping out. They're talking about, man, we took too many pills. Maybe 3 was too much. I don't know if we going the right way or not. Behind them, you got Marge and our boy Young Rich. They end up holding hands. Now, you remember, he always had a crush on her, but now she got one eye and she can't see in the dark. She said it. I didn't make that up. They start holding hands. Now, everyone is hallucinating. They feeling real good. They turn around and say, are y'all holding hands? Marge is saying, no. Rich said, yeah. But they end up coming to a dead end. This isn't the route that they were supposed to be taking. Or at least that's what Maddie thought this was the route they were supposed to be taking. Everyone is separated. Major and Paulie, they're walking, and it's just those two. And out of nowhere, Leroy starts to hear Charlotte. Leroy, that you down there? Hey, help me out. He's like, Paulie, can you see her? Paulie's like, man, she ain't there, man. He's like, nah, can you see her? And out of nowhere, Charlotte gets closer and closer to him. And then Leroy had to lay Charlotte down. He thought Charlotte was down here, but why would she be down here in these tunnels and she don't even know nothing about the tunnels? Paulie's like, man, what the hell? He was like, oh, I had to do what I had to do. But even after she was shot, you could still see Charlotte in the water laughing, and then she disappears. So at that point, this would probably be a good time to exit stage left and leave this damn tunnel. Just when you thought it couldn't get any worse, the kids go to that dead end. Maddie was all wrong. Matt starts talking about Ring Around the Rosies, and the kids are looking around and they see little Susie, they see Phil, they see all kinds of bodies down in this water. They all screaming. And the back of Maddie's head is actually opening up like a mouth. So Maddie was actually it, which is actually Pennywise, tricked them into coming down here, and that's why he didn't want to go to the police, because he wasn't there. Only they could see Maddie. No one else could. And now they need to run because Pennywise, he ain't playing.
Take the clown! Duck and cover, kiddos.
The kids take off running. Pennywise is really a real thing at this point. And when they come around the corner, well, Leroy, he done already took out Charlotte. He sees Will coming around, and he ain't about to risk it again. He has his hand on the trigger. He pulls the trigger. He's about to take Will out, but Paulie jumped in front and took the bullet. And he's looking at the kids like, hey, whoa, y'all real? Y'all get behind me. And well, Paulie, unfortunately, he isn't going to make it out of here, but he did save Will and the kids. Everyone took off and left Lilly. Well, Lilly, she's in that dead end, and Pennywise is creeping up, creeping. Now, her fear was her father, who was in a pickle jar. Well, that fear ain't got nothing on Pennywise. Pennywise is getting closer, Lilly's screaming, but in the water, that pillar that Daniel dropped is right there, and Pennywise can't go any further. Pennywise gets weaker and runs away. Lilly picks up that pillar, and as long as you have that, you'll be safe. Ingrid is leaving her house, and when she gets in her vehicle, in the back seat, guess who it is? It's Hank. So Ingrid is the white woman that Hank was messing with, and he just got off that bus that was going to Shawshank, told her, don't turn around, just drive. Now, they end up going out into the woods, and of course, they missed each other, and there's a lot of BS going down, but he's telling her, Ingrid, I need you to get focused. I need you to go and talk to this woman by the name of Charlotte. She came, and maybe she can help me. I need you to go and talk to her. Now, Hank is already in enough trouble. Once they find out that he's messing with this white woman, it's probably going to get even worse. After the death of Paulie, well, Leroy has to go back on base and record exactly what happened. He's crying about it. Paulie took the bullet, but no one's going to believe this. The general comes in, and the general knows that all of this was capable of happening. So he's like, Leroy, is there anything else you need to tell me? Did you see anything else? And Leroy's like, hey, man, this is some wild stuff. I don't even want to be here. But I know what I saw, and whatever this thing is, we need to get it out of here quickly. As of right now, Dick is unaccounted for. He never showed back up to base. Well, he ends up walking out the tunnels, and when he walks out the tunnels, he looks over to the right, and he sees Paulie. R.I.P. to Paulie. He's just walking off in the woods. But the last thing we see is that box with the yellow light illuminating from it. All right, there you go. The episode 5 recap. Let me know what you think about that. Pennywise is alive. What are your thoughts about this situation? And what would you have done if you seen your significant other in the sewers? And what would you have done if you seen your son running around there? Would you lay them both out, or would it went the same way? Because Leroy is about to take out Will. Let me know what you think. I'm ODIJ. Let's get this channel to 60,000 subscribers. If you like this kind of content, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Thanks for watching. I'm out.
Jimmy on the beat, boy.